and says, Mr. Howell, I want you to work with the United States of America. You've been a good citizen. I've seen your report cards. You've been a good citizen, and I want you to work on a tactical force with the FBI. And I want you to help deal with bad guys and everything. And I'd like to give you this position. Across the staticky phone line, his voice was warm. I would have been so honored and so proud, he went on, that somebody would have overlooked my apparent bad English and bad history. You know what I mean? It was moving, in a way. The negotiators knew that David lied about things and made up stories about himself, but there were times when he seemed to lose his defenses, and then he was remarkably human. The negotiators encouraged him. Who knows, they said. You might beat the charges. Stranger things have happened. Just come on out, David, and you'll see your life isn't over. More than 30 Davidians and their children had left the compound during the siege, with the last departing 5 days before. Loud music blared day and night. High-powered spotlights lit up the building's facade, and the engines of Bradley vehicles growled and rumbled through the night. Inevitably, the conversation would turn. Sometimes the old memories called back old resentments. Let me explain something to you, David railed one night. You are taking me as a fool. Absolutely untrue, the negotiator replied. But David went on in the same vein. He was certain the agents were lying to him. They were like IBM computers, each repeating the same words from the same script in remarkably similar voices. Inhuman men. David hinted that he'd dealt with a long line of older dudes just like them that stretched back to his infancy. It was as if the voices of all the hard-asses that had tried to whip him into submission for 3 decades had been put on a tape that was being played back to him on a loop, over and over and over again. You know you're going to be punished, he said to the agent. Your reasoning, your controlled oration, your unconcernment for the situation, you're a cold heart. You're just a freezer. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you remind me of, like my dad, my stepdad. You didn't say he was such a bad guy, though, the negotiator replied. Oh, I told you, David said. I said we never really knew him. Oh yeah, he was bad. He was a gangster. Part 1. Child of the Lone Star. 1. Bonnie. Early in the morning of August 17th, 1959, Bonnie Clark got out of bed and hurried down to the bathroom of her parents' house in Houston. Her stomach was giving her trouble. She was just 14 years old and 9 months pregnant, her swollen belly on her slim frame noticeable enough to draw stares on the street. A pregnant teenager was still a topic of gossip in small-town Texas in the late 50s. Throughout her pregnancy, Bonnie had felt the judging eyes of others. That night, the pain wouldn't let up. Bonnie went back and forth between her bed and the bathroom. Her mother called out to her from her bedroom. Let me see what's wrong, she said. Bonnie told her it was just a stomach ache. Her mother spoke from the dark room. You're going to have that baby. The two of them tried to wake Bonnie's daddy, Vernon, to drive them to the hospital, but he was half drunk from the night before and didn't want to go. Finally, they dragged him outside to the truck and got on the road to the hospital. It might have been Vernon Clark's hangover that made him reluctant to leave his bed, but it might have been the baby, too. Bonnie's family had been deeply hurt when she turned up pregnant. An already fractious relationship with her father had turned to acid. For as long as she'd been alive, Bonnie's father had been a menacing presence in her life. The family never learned the origins of Clark's rage, but they had their suspicions. He'd endured a rough childhood. His father had passed away when he was 8, and his mother had taken up with a series of boyfriends, none of which seemed to have made any emotional connection with the young boy. Clark had made it through high school, and, in the wake of Pearl Harbor,